Hey everyone, it's Andrew Vittoria with Keller Williams Coastal. Wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the situation buyers are finding themselves in this year. As probably most of you buyers who are watching this have experienced, it's a very challenging market for a lot of you guys. You keep looking for houses, things are a lot more expensive than they were a year ago, 2 years ago certainly, 3 years ago, incredibly different. And you've saved your money, you've done the right things, and all you're looking to do is just buy a house, just buy something suitable for yourselves. And you get met with rejection, you get met with not being able to afford what you really want, and that leads to one emotion. That emotion is frustration. You get upset, you get irritated, you're just trying to achieve this goal, and it feels like it keeps getting snatched out of your reach. Every time you get close, the interest rates go up, or somebody with a big cash offer comes in. And it leads to this boiling frustration that is just so difficult to overcome. And what I want to talk to you guys about today, those of you who are buying houses in this market, is how to overcome that. It's very difficult to do emotionally because the emotions that you're feeling are so strong. You have to do it with some logic. You have to take a step back, as difficult as this is, and look at what the situation is. What do we know to be true? Okay, we know it's a challenging market, but is that under your control? No. All right, what do we know about real estate in general? Well, we know that if you plan to hold long term, it's probably going to increase in value. If you're holding it for 10 years, almost certainly, even in the most dramatic of drops like we saw in 2007, 2008, even with those terrible markets for sellers where the bottom fell out of pricing, you still walked away if you held it for 10 years, at least at the midpoint. So if you hold it for 10 years, you're looking 10 years or more, chances are very, very good that you're going to walk out with money. Okay, what else do we know? Well, we know that the interest rate environment right now is not conducive to buying probably the property that you would have gotten a couple of years ago. So what do we know about interest rates, and how do we overcome those feelings of interest rates? Well, you have a couple of options when it comes to it. You can choose to sit out. If you sit out, prices are probably going up. I'm sorry to tell you guys, I know a lot of you are waiting for the big crash. Chances are very good you are not going to see a big crash. Okay? So if we know that you're probably not going to see a big crash, and we know prices are probably staying flat to increasing, more likely to increase than stay flat, what else do we know? Well, we know that if you get a mortgage today, the rate that you pay, you've got a few options on it. One, either it's going to go up, or it's going to go down, or it's going to stay the same. Those are your three choices. Up, down, or the same. If it stays the same, you got the best deal you could have gotten. If interest rates go up, well, you would have paid more if you had waited and gotten less house. And if interest rates go down, you refinance. So any of those three options, if you look at it logically, there is a path forward either way. We know that if you're buying long term and you're doing the best you can with what you've got to work with today, that you will end up doing very well in the long term. Okay, now you're probably sitting there saying, that doesn't solve my number one or number two problem, depending on how you're looking at the situation. That problem, of course, is I can't find what I want to buy. Well, the question I have for you there is, what strategy are you using to locate those properties? Now, there's a few things that we can do. If you are a very good qualified buyer, you can buy things that are not for sale. I know that sounds crazy. I know a lot of folks think you can't do that. I have seen it happen on many, many occasions. Yeah, sometimes you got to give a little bit more, or you have to get very creative with how you purchase something. But there are things out there right now. In the past month, I've talked to at least 15 people who are sellers but don't have their houses publicly marketed on MLS. They want to sell their house, but they just don't want to put it on the market for whatever reason they have. Keep in mind, we just had a big pandemic. A lot of people are personal. They're private. They don't want pictures of their houses on the internet. They want the sale without the listing. And if you are a buyer who can work with them, great. That might be a conducive relationship to getting them what they want while you getting what you want. But the big kick there is your realtor needs to they really have to know how to go after these people. And it's not easy. Okay, it's not like it's not as easy as going to Zillow or going to Realtor.com or going to my website and hitting a button and all these houses spit out. It's not how it works. You have to do a very different process, much more labor intensive for your real estate agent, much more time intensive, and yeah, it might cost a few dollars too. If you had to spend a couple $100 and it ended up getting you a couple of options on houses to buy that otherwise wouldn't be for sale, would you make that decision today? I want you to think about that. Because if you get someone who knows what they're doing, they can get you those options that wouldn't be there otherwise. Certainly I'm bringing it up because I'm a guy who knows how to do that. I can go out, I can help you find these things. But again, it's not instantaneous, it's not immediate gratification, it's a process and it's effort. But here's the funny thing about frustration. When you're frustrated as a buyer, it's generally because you have a feeling of lack of control of something. What if we were taking methodical steps on a daily or a weekly or even a monthly basis that was, while keeping an eye on the regular market, that was getting you closer to your goal? We could say, hey, here's what we did. We targeted these, 15, 20, 30 properties that you thought might be a good fit. We approached all of these people. One of them said they'll think about it. 29 of them said no. Well, all of a sudden, now you're in a situation where you may very well be able to get something that nobody else knew was for sale. Imagine how your frustration starts to melt away when you realize, I have taken steps towards solving the problem. I didn't wallow in anger. I didn't wallow in frustration. Frustration is easy. Taking the right steps to achieve your goal, no matter what it takes, that's the hard part. But that's the difference today between buyers who are smiling at the closing table and buyers who are crying on the sidelines. So feel free. Pick which one you want to be, and if you're interested in learning more about how I can help you buy something potentially that's not for sale or overcoming the frustrations, I want you to give me a call. 401-500-2164. My phone is on most hours of the day. If you're more comfortable sending me a message or texting, that's perfectly acceptable as well. Once again, this is Andrew Vittoria with Keller Williams Coastal, 401-500-2164. Good luck to you out there. Have a great day.